Shalom, shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh. Baha Shem Yahweh Shah, Baha Shem Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Whomever you may be, whoever you may be, Shalom, Yasharal, Shalom. All right, we are in Exodus, I want to say 32. So we got about 8 more chapters. We'll probably cover 2 chapters a day, 32 and 33, which will pretty much bring us down to 7 chapters, because I believe there's 40 in Exodus. So we're almost there. We're not quite. So we're going to start right here in the Google, and we're going to read this Wikipedia, because this golden calf here is going to come up in this chapter. All right. This is supposed to be the Israelites. I might actually use that. Let me see if I can download that. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so in this chapter is what comes up, the golden calf. And as a matter of fact, let's just dig into this, because this is what I came over here for, the wiki. So it says the overview. I'm going to click on the wiki. I'm going to read this right here as far as I can. So it says, according to the Torah and the Quran, the golden calf was a cult image made by the Israelites when Moses went up to Mount Sinai. In Hebrew, the incident is known as the sin of the calf. It is first mentioned in the book of Exodus. Bull worship was common in many cultures, and that's the thing that I want to pull out from there. All right, because after serving so many years under Egypt, all right, this is pretty sure where we picked this up from, because there were many different ancient, cultures back then who had, bull and calf worship. And being that we were nowhere except for in Egypt, there's no other place that we would have picked this up from. And which that can somewhat be proven because of they have the bull god Apis. These should come up here somewhere. So it says, we just read that. All right, so they have a Hebrew word here. Okay, so yeah, bull worship was common in many cultures in Egypt, whence, according to the Exodus narrative, the Israelites had recently come. He is right there. The bull god Apis was a comparable object of worship. Some believe Yahweh, the national god of the Israelites, was associated with or pictured as a sacred bull through the process of religious assimilation, and syncretism, all right, which is going off. But you had the Israelites who fell to these different things. As a matter of fact, let's pull up these things right here. Religious assimilation refers to the adoption of a majority or dominant culture's religious there you go. That actually puts more oomph to what we just mentioned about us picking this up from Egypt, right? Refers to the adoption of a majority or dominant culture's religious practices and beliefs by a minority or subordinate culture. It is an important form of cultural assimilation. And being there so long in Egypt without having any power, I'm pretty sure we picked up. Now, not saying that we just fully did everything they did, worship how they did, and so on and so forth. But at some point, these Egyptian, obviously, because they have so many gods and do so many things. So these foreign gods, these Egyptian, gods were clearly known about, whether we worship them or not, because we were living in their land. Okay, even though we were living in Goshen. All right. The point being is we were still under that Egyptian rule. So we would have known about their different gods. Even if we didn't know about them thoroughly, we would have known about some, maybe even all of their different gods, because we lived amongst their culture so long as slaves, right? It also says religious assimilation includes the religious conversion of individuals from a majority faith to the dominant faith. It can also include the religious indoctrination of children into a dominant religion by their converted parents. All right. And you can read more on that if you want, because I want to keep going. I'm going to pull up syncretism, the practice of combining different beliefs and various schools of thought. Syncretism involves the merging or assimilation of several originally discrete traditions, especially in the theology and mythology of religion, thus asserting an underlying unity and allowing for an inclusive approach to other faiths. While syncretism in art and culture is sometimes likened to eclecticism in the realm of religion, it specifically denotes a more integrated merging of beliefs into a unified system, distinct from eclecticism, which implies a selective adoption of elements from different traditions without necessarily blending them into a new cohesive belief system. Let's pull up eclecticism. Is a conceptual approach that does not hold rigidly to a single paradigm or set of assumptions, but instead draws upon multiple theories, styles, or ideas to gain complementary insights into a subject or applies different theories in particular cases. However, this is often without conventions or rules dictating how or which theories were combined. So, all right, so let's go back. Um, Yeah, so it says among the Canaanites, all right, which because those Egyptians were Canaanites, and as we moved out of Egypt in the wilderness, eventually we started having problems with those Canaanites because well they were living in the lands that were promised to us. So it says among the Canaanites, some of whom would become the Israelites. That's false. That's definitely false. All right. No heathen, whether it be a Canaanite or any other heathen nation, no one becomes an Israelite. All right. Now you do have the mixed multitude that left, but that's more so probably because some of those men, those Israelite men, probably had Egyptian women that they took to themselves, and they had, some kind of favor for her, and probably even had children with her, as well as possibly even I highly doubt it, but it's still very possible that maybe even some of the Israelite women had Egyptian men. I really highly doubt that one. But as far as the men, I don't doubt that some of the men probably had Egyptian women. Okay, because there's beautiful women in all cultures. All right. So yeah, it says as a matter of fact, let's pull up Canaanites real quick. Right, we have around the southern Levant, the ancient Near East. Yeah, a lot of pretty much the majority of the area was on there it is right there. I was about to mention the Great Sea, which is the Mediterranean Sea. All right, so you see that. That's a good map right there. Canaan, Aram, Mesopotamia. All right, so I saw something said Moab down there. It says some of whom would become the Israelites, which that's false. The bull was widely worshipped as the sacred bull and the creature of El, which is I think is one of their. Whoa, look at that thing. Father of gods, Phoenician. Uh, Okay, so El is a Northwest Semitic word meaning God or deity. Yeah, because going to the Hebrew word Allah, right, meaning God or power or God. Um, give that statue of Ugarit, or whatever. So this is something more than many things worship back then. But that sacred bull is the key thing that I want to pull out from here and where we probably picked it up from. All right. In which that bull stuck with the Israelites. Those 2/3. All right, those rebellious Israelites from out of Egypt. This is the first example of setting up that golden calf, and then later on in history, because Jeroboam, Rehoboam, I want to say it was, I think Jeroboam was Solomon's son, Rehoboam was his servant. Okay, I forget, I always get the two names mixed up because it's so similar, but the servant, whichever one it was, Jeroboam and Rehoboam, the servant is the one who was afraid that those tribes that he started pretty much, we'll just say king over, all right, he was afraid that if they were going back to Jerusalem to worship, that they would give their allegiance back to Solomon and basically leave him. So what he did is set up two golden calves, one in Dan and one in Bethel. All right. So they wouldn't have to go to Jerusalem to worship because he was afraid if they did that to go and worship, that they would end up, just giving their allegiance back over. Okay. I mean, not I said Solomon, excuse me. I meant Solomon's son. All right. Give their allegiance back over to, I want to say Jeroboam was the son. Rehoboam was the servant. But fact check me on that one. Like I said, I always get the names mixed up. So it says cattle are prominent in some religions and mythologies. As such, numerous people throughout the world. I know you hear me say mythologies often. Actually, we're not going to pull up the word. I thought I was going to be able to pull up mythologies by itself, but it's okay. As such, numerous peoples throughout the world have at one point in time honored bulls, you see, as sacred. In the Sumerian religion, Marduk is the bull of Utu, all right? So, yeah, because when you're dealing with the Babylonians, Marduk was one of their high chief deities, how you want to call it, as well as Bel. Bel was very high, which is why you get the name of Danya Allah being changed to Belteshazzar, all right, and then you had Belshazzar, because those names were similar off of that god that they worship, Bel, all right. So um it says in Hinduism, Shiva's steed is Nandi, the bull. The sacred bull survives in the constellation Taurus, the bull, where the lunar, that's another big thing right there, being in the constellation, right? And the Lord tells us to not, deal with certain things like that, all right? So, these nations probably looked up and see the constellation, how the different ones, the, what do they call them? Uh, I can't, because I don't deal with it. What's the daggone thing? They're called the your birth sign or whatever. I know there's a word. It's just slipping my memory, but it's okay. You know what I'm talking about. But that bull is one of them. I believe that bull is supposed to be the Gemini or something like that. I don't know, but it says the bull, whether lunar as in Mesopotamia or solar as in India, is the subject of various other cultural and religious incarnations as well as modern mentions in New Age cultures. Yeah, that's why you will see that sun disk. Let me see if I can get back to Apis. You'll see that sun disk over their head, its head. Oh yeah, it was right here. Look, Jeroboam's going to Cavs. There you go. So Jeroboam was the serpent, all right, because Rehoboam was the son. All right, there you go. You got the answer right there. See, the water you help us. There you go. So that's pretty much right there. Everything we just worship. Want to wiki that you can. I want to find what I was looking for before I forget it. I'm looking for this bull that the Egyptians worshipped, known as Apis. Okay, it actually took us back out. Wait, here's more. Oh, that's probably the same thing. Yeah. But yeah, the Egyptians do have a bull god they worship, known as Apis. I'm pretty sure I'm probably looking over it. Just mentioned the god of Babylon. If we can't find it, we're just gonna continue going on, because I don't want to just hang on it. But you could look it up for yourself if you like. There's someone named Apis that the Egyptians worshipped. Because it's not necessarily important. I was just mentioning that because you will see this Apis bull with the you see the big horns, like a steer, and then you'll see that orange sun disk, okay, above his head. All right. Um, oh yeah, it took us back again. So yeah, it's pretty much everything right there. Yeah, because it takes us right back to the. As a matter of fact, let's see if we can. Actually, no, there's nothing we can get from that. But you get the gist of it. All right, so you don't have to just twist arms here, okay? And you can just look it up for yourself, because we're going to get into this chapter now. So Exodus chapter 32, verse 1. So it says, and when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, because he was up there, kicking it with the Lord for 40 days, 40 nights, getting his instructions, right? The temple, and everything else that goes in the temple, the law, and just chopping it up with the Lord, getting his direction, all right, to tell the people. So it says, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, and this is very, very crazy what we're about to point out here. It says, the people gathered together unto Aaron and said unto him, up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we would not what is become of him. We don't know what's going on. This guy's been gone for 40 days, 40 nights. And you got to get up and make us a god to go before us. Now, what they were referring to is the chariot, which we know the chariot is Yahushua. Exodus 13 over there to 1 Corinthians 10. All right, those first few verses there. So we know that this chariot that followed us in the wilderness, the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night, was Yahushua, right? So they were saying that you need to make us a god to go before us and lead us, all right, as we continue journeying, all right, like this chariot did with the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire. We need to make us a god, all right, to guide and go before us. The craziest part about that is, well, your God is right there. There's a chariot right in the sky, right above the camp, and you're telling Aaron to rise up. All right, I don't know if you're sleeping or whatever, but you're telling Aaron to rise up and make us a god to go before us. That's the crazy part. That's how rebellious Israel is. And that's why the scriptures, what does it say? Stiff neck, hard headed people in Baruch chapter 2. Okay. So it says, and Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings. So him, right along with it, right? He just went along with it. It says, which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people break off the golden earrings which were in their ears and brought them unto Aaron. And you may, in case you're just jumping in here at this chapter and you didn't go through the previous chapters, where they got these golds and this treasure or whatever from, however you want to call it, is from the Egyptians. Because the Lord said by way of Abraham, all right, way back in, I want to say it was Genesis like 15 when he had the vision. Okay. He said that we will leave out with great substance. And then it happened in the earlier books of Exodus where it says they spoiled their neighbors. We basically took from the Egyptians. That's how we end up with gold and, different things of that nature. Everything that we needed for our journey leaving out of Egypt. All right. So you wonder, well, if we're in the wilderness, where do we get all this gold from? Weren't we just slaves? Well, that's where they got it from. All right. So it says, and he received them at their hand and fashioned it with the graving tool after he had made it a molten calf. And that's why we went into all those things in the opening. All right. A molten calf. And they said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. All right. Says, and when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. You see, now it says, and they said, so Aaron did the work. But then I guess this rebellious bunch, the head of this rebellious bunch said, hey, these be your gods, Israel. Oh, behold your God, right? The golden calf, right? And then it says, and when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, still going along with it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord Yahweh. This is probably the craziest part in this whole chapter. He created for these rebellious Israelites a golden calf, a false god, and then said, we're going to hold a feast to Yahweh. Are you out of your mind? You see what we're seeing here? All right. And that's why, what does scripture say? Rebelliousness is as a sin of witchcraft. I want to say is that 15? Here it is. 1 Samuel 15:23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and what? Idolatry. You see? And this is what they were doing. They were being rebellious. All right. And they were doing idol worship with their God right there above them in the chariot. You see? For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of Yahweh. He had also rejected thee from being king. And that last part in this scripture is dealing with Saul, but everything all the way down to where it says, because thou has rejected the word of the Lord, that's Israel all day in what we're reading right now. All right. So it says, and when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord Yahweh. Right. And then that's what we mentioned before. Who was it? Rehoboam was his son. Jeroboam was his servant, right? Yeah, he was the one that built the two golden calves. He put one in Dan, one in Bethel, all right? And so this is the same thing you see going on here, which originally happening here, and pretty positive they picked that up from out of Egypt, all right? Because there were multiple, nations, all right, that dealt with this bull. Or in particular, we read about the Egyptians as well as the Indians, all right. And we never got to pull up that Apis bull, but the Apis was one of the Egyptians, one of their more major deities, all right. So it says, verse 6 says, and they rose up early on the morrow, basically the next day, and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. All right, meaning what? The word there is shachak. Shachak. I'm sorry, not shah. Tazachak. Tazachak. All right, there it is right there. Tazachak. It says to laugh, to mock, to play. Look, they jest, right? To jest, to sport, play, make sport, toy with, make toy of. So basically, They had an Israelite party. All right. That's what happened. Okay. So it says, and unto a false god and idol. All right. They had an Israelite party to a false god and idol. And then furthermore, they called this golden calf Yahweh. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, go get thee down, for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way. You see, quickly out of the way. Because the Lord is still there, dealing with Moses, all right, giving him the next instructions, which is everything we just previously read, from the law, all right, inscribed on the tablets, all right, the temple and all the items that go in it, the measurements of the priest's garments, the mitre, and all those things. This is what the Lord was chopping up with Moses, giving him these things for to solidify amongst Israel before we continue the journey. And they, what it says, they have turned aside quickly out of the way, because the scriptures tell us to turn not to the right hand or to the left. All right. And and look, and they were already forewarned, because when you go to Exodus chapter 20, what's the first thing that we'll see? He spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Meaning that you can't worship me and something else too on the side. It means no God, period, except for me. Don't get fooled by how it's worded. All right. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You see? Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahweh, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments, which are pretty much in history, that's the remnant, because the 2/3 are the rebellious ones who are going to get visited with their iniquity. Now that's going to come back up again. I'm not sure if we'll come back over here, but that's going to come back up again. So it says, verse 9 says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a what? We just read it, right? We just talked about it, a stiff-necked people. Okay, when you go into it, so quashaz the word, it says what? Stubborn, stiff of neck, stiff-necked. That's why we just read that 1 Samuel 15 and 23. Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. And we also quoted from Baruch 2, right? Where it says that they are a stiff-necked, hard-headed people. You see? To be hard, be severe, be fierce, be harsh. No, there we go. To be difficult. No, to show stubbornness down at the bottom. All right. Let's see what the other word says here. It's a different one. I rop. Yeah, I rop. Look, same thing here. Stiff of neck, obstinate. See what the word obstinate goes into. You're stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or chosen course of action, despite attempts to persuade one to do so. Ooh, that's beautiful, because what happened in the wilderness, man? Nothing but complaints, and then help, then complain again, then more help, then complain again, then more help. All right, now you're building up a false god. See, what do you do with a people like that besides bring down judgment upon them? Which, in particular, I'm talking about, how the Lord brought the curses upon us, man. Let's get the word irop again. To break the neck of an animal. So we don't really need anything else here. All right, so we can go back there. Well, that was that word. Yep, irop. Going to stiff of neck, obstinate. Right. And what was the word for this? Let's see real quick. Quasha. Yeah, same thing there. Yep, stubborn, stiff of neck, stiff-necked. The same thing here, quasha. Yep. So it says, now therefore let me alone, verse 10, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. So the Lord was like, you know what? Go and get down there to the mountain because your people are tripping. All right, that you brought up out of the land of Egypt. Okay, and I'm about to do them away. All right, I'm about to consume them. All right, because my anger has waxed hot. I'm about to consume them, and I'm gonna make a great nation from you. So it says Moses entreated. It says that Moses besought the Lord Yahweh with his power and said, Yahweh, why doeth thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Bear with me 1 second here, because I'm curious. I usually have my Bible in front of me. I'm curious if I wrote any precepts, dealing with this chapter. Probably should have had it open. Just bear with me 2 seconds here. Where we at? 20. I'm not 20. We got 32. No, I didn't write any precepts, so everything that we got was pretty much all through the spirit. Just checking. You never know. Might want to bring some points out. So it says, and Moses besought Yahweh, right? It says, his power and said, Yahweh, why doeth thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, for mischief did he bring them out to slay them in the mountains and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from thy fierce wrath and repent of this evil against thy people. All right. So basically he's saying, what happened if the Egyptians, they find out and they're going to say, look, this God they said they worship, he brought them out to the wilderness to be destroyed, right? And pretty much he's basically hinting on that they will basically mock you, Lord. All right, we're your people, and if you allow this to happen to us, they're going to mock you. All right, wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, for mischief did he bring them out? All right, try to make the Lord look wicked or whatever. Okay, to slay them in the mountains and to consume them from the face of the earth. Turn from thy fierce wrath and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, right? Our forefathers, right? Which we always talk about at camp when we open. Okay? So it says, to whom thou swearest by thine own self, and says unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. Yeah. And he said that basically to all three of our forefathers. He said that you will be like the sand of the sea, the dust of the earth, and as the stars of heaven for a number of, multitude. Let's see if we can find the precepts here. Let's see, multiply. Let's see what we can find here. Here we go. Genesis 13 and 15. For all the land which thou seest to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, which is impossible, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Genesis 26 and 4. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Here we go. Genesis 28 and 13. And behold, Yahweh stood above it and said, I am Yahweh, power of Abraham, thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Another similar one, like the last one, and the Most High, Genesis 35 and 11, said unto him, I am God Almighty, all right, Allah Shaja, be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac to thee, I will give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. All right, so there you have it, man. Okay. So let's go back. We probably could have closed it from there. So let me see. Find my verse here. Yep. 13 says, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thy own self, and says unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And he was referring to the land of Canaan, which we're moving to that point towards those military campaigns, because Moses eventually, he was taken from the earth, and Joshua rose up, right, to lead the Israelites. He's the one who led the military campaigns to acquire those lands, which could read about in the books of Joshua and those military conquests. So it says, and Yahweh repented of the evil which he thought to do, and now those some great happenings there. All right, which has been a while since I've read them. All right, but first, coming over Jordan, first thing we sacked was Jericho, which Jericho is a widely known story, an event, I should say. I don't like to call them stories, but you get the point. A widely known piece of our history, in the earth. All right. And so, but those battles was, some major incursions. It says, and Yahweh repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the two tables of the testimony were in his hand. The tables were written on both their sides, on the one side and on the other were they written, right? Because there was particular 10, right? But of course, given the each commandment there. Now, of course, there's more, just 10 laws, but those were the general backbone that were given on those tables of stone. All right. But yeah, so of course, each law having a certain link to what was said there. So of course, we had to written on the front side and the back side to get everything in there. But most of the time you see when people show a depiction of it, it's just the 10 Commandments written on one side of either of the two tablets, but it's mostly probably because it's written in English. Okay. But anyways, so it says, and the tables were the work of the Most High, and the writing was the writing of the Most High, graven upon the tables. Yeah, because we always hear the law of Moses, which Moses gave the law to the Israelites, but it was given to him by the Lord, and it was the Lord, all right, laser etching, with his direct energy beam, those commandments into those stone tablets. And when Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said unto Moses, there is a noise of war in the camp. And he said, it is not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear. Yeah. So he says, it's not them that shout for mastery. Those that are, shouting, to get, to be victorious in the battle, nor is it the voice of them that cry for being overtaken in the battle. We can get these words here. Or really, we only need mastery. Gabawara. See, might, strength, valor, bravery. All right. Men at war, screaming, and fighting, and overcoming. See, strong man, brave, mighty. All right. Gabar, the word gabar. Okay. Nor is it them that cry for being overcome. You're losing the battle. See? No, it's neither one of these. What it is, it's the noise of them that sing do I hear. All right. Because it says up above, remember, it says they rose up to play. All right. Started, just rising up and jacking around and, acting all foolish, partying, whatever, having an Israelite party, doing whatever. All right, worshiping the golden calf and having a feast, or supposed the next day to have a feast to a golden calf and actually giving it the name of Yahweh, saying that this is our God. Foolishness. So Moses' anger. So Exodus 32:19 says, and it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moses' anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hands and brake them beneath the mount. Now that's on Moses, all right? I mean, you can't really fault him for being mad, but he went off when he broke the tablets, all right? Because that was given to him directly by the Lord to give to the Israelites. So it says, and he took the calf which they had made and burnt it in the fire and ground it into powder and strawed it upon the water and made the children of Israel drink of it. All right. So it just pretty much he spread it on the water. All right. Where there's Zarah, to scatter, fan, cast away, winnow, disperse. All right. So on and so forth. Same thing. So it says he strawed it upon the water and made the children of Israel drink of it. So all these earrings and jewelry, they wasted making the golden calf. Moses beat it all the way down to powder, took it, however it was gathered together. He took it, started upon the water, and made them drink of this, golden calf, I don't know, gold powder dust in the water. How you want to, say it, right? And Moses said unto Aaron, what did this people unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? You see? That's why I kept pointing out Aaron so much above, because Aaron should have knew better. All right. He was basically, somewhat of second in charge, if you want to put it that way. But he was almost like Moses' right hand man, because we go back to the earlier books in Genesis. All right. Moses, he was like, I don't know if I could do this, Lord. All right. So the Lord got mad. He says, okay, you'll be like God. All right. To you, Pharaoh, and to Aaron, and Aaron will be the mouthpiece, because Moses was supposed to be the mouthpiece, and the Most High was just going to do his thing. So he says, all right, this is what I'll do. I'll set you up, like I would have done. And then Aaron would be the mouthpiece. All right, now go. Okay. So Aaron should have knew better. It says, and Aaron said, let not the anger of my Lord wax hot. Thou knowest the people that they are set on mischief. As we mentioned before, stiff-necked, hard-headed people. You see? It says wax hot, which we never went into. We didn't really have to go to it. All right. I read the word is chara. Here it is, chara. To be hot, furious, burn, become angry, be kindled. You see? To heat oneself in vexation, to be incensed, right? With anger, right? So it says, verse 23, for they said unto me, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we would not what is become of him. So it begs the question of, well, why didn't you just say, hey, Aaron, you need to lead us? But anyways, which that would have been going off. I'm just making a point. Instead, they decided to, hey, make us a god, all right? And say, hey, Aaron, we don't know what happened to your brother Moses. You should lead us. No, they say, hey, make us this god, man. Like, you do your thing. And I said unto them, whosoever hath any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it to me. Then I cast it into the fire, and there came out this calf. And when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made excuse me, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies. Now, what does it mean when it says this? It doesn't mean butt naked, all right? What it's talking about, the shame of you not pretty much, we'll in a sense we'll say not being in the truth, because we'll in this ancient sense more so, the Lord was, trying to command the Israelites to do this, do not do this, and so on and so forth. All right. So his laws, his statutes, and his commandments, which we already entered into the covenant, or we read it anyways. All right. Because you have to understand different things are taking place in different increments of time. You can really put it together. But in Exodus 24, that was where we entered into the blood covenant. All right. So, given that, all right. So what is the basis of that covenant? All right. It is the Lord's laws. All right. His statutes, his commandments, which comes along with his judgments. That is what the covenant is about. Following the Lord and his ways. So just like when we speak about the new covenant, what is the new covenant going to be about? The same thing. But we're going to have the new bodies where we're never going to even be able to go off again, nor want to, because the bodies will be righteous in themselves. We're going to have bodies of the heaven, like it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5. You see? So, and this is no different from dealing with, when you go to Genesis, dealing with Adam and Eve. All right. We're talking about the soul, fig leaves, their nakedness and stuff. It was them. All right. Now understanding that they've gone away from the commandments of the Lord. Wow. That car just jumped out in front of the other car. They almost hit it. But anyways, yeah. So this is the shame that it's talking about. All right. There, as a matter of fact, let's pull up the word naked, see what comes up. Parai. He's right there. Oh, para. Says to lead, act as leader, to let go, loose the Lord, to let alone avoid neglect. You see? To let alone, to avoid, to neglect, cause to refrain, lack of restraint. All right. So yeah. So by them doing this, they were basically going directly against the Lord. All right. And when you do that, that's when you are in jeopardy of not having the Lord's covering. And what did he just say to Moses? All right, get on down there. All right, because your people are tripping, and I'm about to burn them up, and I'm gonna start over with you. You see? So it says, and Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked. Now, of course, they could have been jumping around actually naked, but we wanted to talk about the spiritual sense, right? Them going off from the Lord, worshiping the golden calf, actually giving it the name of the Heavenly Father, saying, this is our God is going to go before us and all these things in that nature, right? But on the physical sense, them rising up a playing party, have an Israelite party, they probably were, some of them probably were butt naked and doing whatever, right? Just been doing all manners of wickedness. So it says, and when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies. All right. As a matter of fact, let's see what comes up here for precepts. Might be a good idea right there. So, okay, is this something? Excuse me. The term naked may mean either that they were unarmed and defenseless, or ashamed from the consciousness of guilt. Yeah, going off on the Lord. Shame. Let's see what we can get from here. Oh, we mentioned that. Genesis 3:10, and he said, I heard thy voice in the garden. How was the voice heard in the garden? All right. The prophets. The prophets came looking for Adam and Eve. Mainly Adam, because he was the man. And I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. Doesn't mean he was butt naked. Absolutely not. Okay. This was talking about the shame of him, because when they ate up the philosophy and opened their minds up to the new things that they weren't supposed to know, basically the wicked side of life. All right, the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, says you become like one of them, and you shall not surely die. All these things that happen and transpire. Right now, they've left knowing righteousness only. They left the commandments of the Lord, and now you know the left hand side of things. Which when you go through the scriptures, it was necessary. It was supposed to happen, but just on this point that we're making here, they're leaving off from the laws of the Lord that has always been there, and the prophets have always been there to give it. Isaiah 47:3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Yeah, this was said, pretty much to the Edomites. All right, this is referring to Yahushua speaking on the Edomites. And when it says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen, doesn't mean that he's going to make these people butt naked on television. No, it means all their things are going to be exposed. Okay, you're gonna like the scripture say, that shameful spirit shall be upon your glory. He's gonna bring you down low and into a shameful point before he actually brings you down, physically out of power. All right. It does mention it here too, where it says, because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. All right, you basically have no understanding of the Lord's ways, his will, and so on and so forth. I think you kind of get the gist of it, and that's the last scripture there anyways. You see, perfect one. Revelation 16:15, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments. What are the garments? It's the truth. Awake, awake, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, meaning awake out of your sleep from the dust of confusion and grab this truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. All right, come, buy ye oil. I'm sorry, buy ye, how's it worded? I believe it's Isaiah like 55:1, like the first few verses there. Come ye eat buy without money or something like that. All right, but you get my point that I'm making here. Okay, and watch and keepeth his garments, which is the truth. Put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments. That's the truth. Lest he walk naked, meaning what? Without the laws of the Lord, his commandments, his direction, all right, his understanding, his wisdom that was given to us at one point and was stricken from us eventually when we put it under the curses. And now we've been given the opportunity to receive those things back, to seek his mercy, to seek out salvation by seeking him. All right, returning unto him, seek him 10 times more. All right, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. See? So it's not talking about being butt naked, man. All right? They left the truth. That's basically what they did here, to really sum it up. So it says, and when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies, then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on Yahweh's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor. So that leaves nobody, all right? It says every man and his brother, all right? Every man and his companion, so every man and his wife. So if you're going to get his brother's part of every man and his companion. So his brother and his brother's wife, right? And every man his neighbor, which that just, summarizes it all right? Slay them all that are against the Lord. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. But so now you might get thrown off about how it's worded, because it says that the Levites joined to him. But if only 3,000, it was more than a million of us, all right? So if only 3,000, fell, all right, then it goes to show you that, there were many who became afraid, all right, and, stood with Moses, really stood with the Lord, all right, but, by way of, Moses and the speech he just gave there, all right, and then those wicked, rebellious ones who probably wanted to just do what they wanted to do and keep worshiping the golden calf, hey, they got a surprise, man. They were put to death, man. So it says, for Moses has said, consecrate yourselves today to Yahweh, even every man upon his son and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses said unto the people, ye have sinned a great sin, and now I will go up unto Yahweh, peradventure I shall make an atonement for your sin. And Moses returned unto Yahweh and said, oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold, the golden calf, right? It says, yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. Now, when it's talking about the book, it's the same thing that's mentioned in Revelation. All right, there's not an actual book. Okay, this book of life is basically those that were destined to receive salvation even from the foundations of the earth, which are known in the scriptures as the remnant or the elect. All right, another name for them, the first fruits. Okay, which is first fruits more so dealing with the 144,000 men. But yeah, the elect or the remnant or the 1/3, all right, is the names that or the terms or names or whatever that you usually hear for that remnant of the nation of Israel. The 2/3, all right, well, I mean, really just what you mostly hear, the 2/3, right? The other ones to be destroyed, okay, with the rest of the, the heathens, all right? So it says, yet now if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. So there's no actual book, right? It's just meaning, for that salvation, which that was a very humbling, thing that he asked of the Lord, because, to put yourself, though it was though the his people that went off, he still put himself in a humbling situation, which goes to show you his character, because even when you go back to the earlier books of I would say Genesis, Exodus, right? It talks about how, which I believe is also mentioned again in the book of Hebrews, but how he chose to be with his people who we were slaves, right? Rather than to continue enjoying how was the word? The fleeting pleasure of sin or something like that. Let's see if I can't fish that one up. Fleeting pleasure, something like that. Lord willing, we can pull this one. See here. See what the CSB has for us. Yep. Hebrews 11:25. I was looking for the one, but we'll read it. And chose to suffer with the people of the Most High, rather to enjoy the fleeting pleasure of sin. All right. So it goes to show you that Moses kept that same character, all right, throughout. All right. Okay. So maybe it wasn't mentioned. Either that or just not coming up, or maybe it wasn't just. But yeah, but the one in Hebrews, as we just read, right? And we probably could have read some more context around it. See, by faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, and chose to suffer with the people of the Most High rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasure of sin. You see? For he considered reproach for the sake of the Messiah to be greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, since he was looking ahead to the reward. You see, he understood the mission. All right. He understood that, yeah, this is great. Of course, any of us can say that. You know, you live in lavish, you got gold all around you all the time, you got power and wealth, and you got a little freedom here to do this, do that. But it was like compared to what, you know, what's to come, this is nothing. And I don't want this. All right. And the scriptures even talk about, give me neither poverty nor riches, and other similar scriptures to that. All right. We don't need those things, and we don't want those things. We want our Lord to come. We're going to get more than what we desire to get in this world when salvation comes. You see? So we don't need those things on this side. And some men can't come to terms with that. But it is what it is. By faith, he left Egypt behind, not being afraid of the king's anger, for Moses preserved as one who sees him who is invisible. All right, so let's go back. So it says, verse 33, and Yahweh said unto Moses, whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. And I never mentioned, let me see if I can do this. Let me get this out the way. So this book of life is not an actual book. All right. Philippians 4:3, and I entreat thee also, true yoke fellow, help those women which labor with me in the gospel, with Clement also, and with other my fellow laborers, whose names are in the book of life, meaning those that are partakers of being the 1/3, the elect, the remnant. All right. Revelation 3:5, he that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, those destined to receive salvation. It's not an actual book. These are those that are predetermined. As a matter of fact, we'll get that. But I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. Revelation 13:8, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. This is the 2/3. All right. It is their lot to be destroyed. All right. The same shall know it after death by pain. 2 Ezra chapter 9. Revelation 17:8, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. All right. And they destruction. Right. And they shall and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life. Right. Now, it doesn't mean all the heathen nations on the earth and the Israelites, because the heathens don't matter. This was written referring to Israelites. So if you worship this beast in his system or whatever, and take his technology, whatever the case may be, you will be a part of this group that will be destroyed. The same that shall know it after death by pain. All right. Written in the book of life from the foundation, not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. You see, that's the key thing right there. From the foundation of the world, before the earth was even formed. All right. When they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is, talking about the ancient Roman Empire that came back up through the Renaissance period, which is America now. All right. Revelation 20:12, and I saw the dead, small and great, stand before the Most High, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. So once again, it says book, but don't get fooled. These are not actual books. These are just those that are predetermined to either receive salvation or destruction. And like I said, we're going to get it. Bear with me. We're going to read these. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. Okay. And then, like the scripture says, some are going to be risen to everlasting life, some to everlasting, I think it says condemnation. Revelation 20:15, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Yeah, you were destroyed in the fire of America. All right. And those that were judged were also cast into that fire. Revelation 21:27, and there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. Those are the remnant, the elect. All right, the 1/3, not an actual book, just those that are predestined. Revelation 22:19, and if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecies from out of the scriptures, where it says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read, no one of these shall fail, none shall want her make. You can't add anything to this book or add any other book to this book, and you can't take away from it. Let's continue reading. The Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things that are written in this book. Meaning, not that Israel, because the scriptures don't contradict themselves. Isaiah 60, around the last verses. I think it's 24, 25 verses, one or the other. It's like that very last verse where it says that my people shall be all righteous. The 1/3 are the ones who will be getting salvation, the remnant. The 2/3 will be destroyed, and the 2/3 will be in the kingdom because they will be reborn into the kingdom by the 1/3 who are now immortal, all right, and they have, salvation is given to them. So that's how the 2/3 come back, all right. So this is referring to those 2/3, right? But it's referring to on this side. If you were part of the 2/3 on this side, that's what this is referring to, all right. If you take out of the book of life and out of the holy city, all right, I mean, it says, he shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city, meaning you won't get salvation on this side. You will be in the kingdom eventually, but you will know death by pain, all right? And so let's make the point, there of mentioning, all right, Ephesians 1. We'll just try to get the point. Here it is. As a matter of fact, let's just start at 10. I was looking at 11. Let's start at 10 because since it's lit up. Ephesians 1 and 10. That in the dispensation of the fullness of times, he might gather together in one all things in the Messiah, both which are in heaven and which are on earth, even in him, in whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestinated. And there's many that don't believe in predestination. The Sadducees even didn't even believe. I was, referring to people today, but even back then. But I was mentioning the Sadducees because they didn't believe in like they believe that you have free will and other different things, crazy things that they believed in, right? Bug outs. So it says, according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. All right, that we should be to the praise of his glory, who first trusted in the Messiah. All right, in whom ye also trusted, after that ye heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, in whom also after that you believe, you were sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise. All right, which is the earnest of our inheritance until the redemption of the purchased possession, unto the praise of his glory. Who's the purchased possession? Israel. But it's only going to begin with the remnant on this side. The 2/3 will be in the kingdom, but on this side, it's only about the elect, hopeful elect remnant, man. Right? And we'll get predestinated before we go back. So it says what? To predetermine, decide beforehand. As we read in Revelation, those scriptures there, it was before the foundation of the world, before the earth was even formed. This was already planned out. All right. That's why you have to constantly be in fear of the Lord. All right. Remain humble. Pray that the Lord take not his spirit off of you. Ask for forgiveness constantly, his mercy constantly. All right. Because you want to be a part of that book of life. Those that are predestined to receive salvation. All right. Which if you are, you are. But my point is you don't know that. Okay. That's the scary part. Okay. You don't know that because if you knew, you probably grow arrogant. All right. And then what could stop you then? You're going to get salvation anyways. So yeah, the Lord makes sure you're afraid. And the scriptures say, serve the Lord. I think it says, serve the Lord with fear, rejoice with trembling. Right. So it also says in the New Testament of the Most High decreeing from eternity to foreordain a point beforehand. There you go. So let's go back. So it says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. And remember, we went to Exodus 20, right? And pointed out those scriptures there. All right. So it says, therefore, now go lead the people unto the place of which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, mine angel shall go before thee. Who's that angel? That's Yahweh. All right. Pillar of cloud by day, pillar of fire by night. That was Yahweh guiding us. It says, mine angel shall go before thee. Nevertheless, and notice how angel is capitalized here. All right. It says, nevertheless, in the day when I visit, I will visit their sin upon them. And the reason why I pointed that out is because when you see Son of Man, all right, the majority of times you see it, it's capitalized. All right. Because that's referring to Yahweh. Verse 35 says, and Yahweh plagued the people because they made the calf which Aaron made. All right. So that's the end of Exodus chapter 32. Lord willing, you edify. Till next time, y'all. I'm going to say shalom.